Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Number for Red Sox before that. Devers is gone. And Turner rifles this one deep to right. Willie Calhoun going back. He looks up. Out of here. Justin Turner. Trevino back up the middle. Off the bat. What a break for Trevino and the Yankees. That plates Donaldson and McKinney. Devers, slow roller. Ramirez is over there. First base unoccupied. There you go, big fella. Hit the ground running. That one's through, and that's going to put the Red Sox on top. Kike Hernandez. Second and third. This ball's driven to left field. Did he do it? Did Pablo Reyes leave the yard? No, he did not.
It is Sunday, June 11th. It's the final game of the homestand, and it's the final game and the rubber game of a 3-game set with the Boston Red Sox. Clark Schmidt was on the mound, looking to continue his string of recent success. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
If you tuned in expecting a rant, you're getting more of a somber mood tonight. This was a disappointing loss by the Yankees this evening. Just completely inept on offense once again. And they lost the series to the last place Boston Red Sox. The Yankees are still 9 games over 500, and you have to wonder how. Because their offense is just pitiful. I did this last night, but it was late in the show, so I don't know if everybody saw it or listened to it. I want to read the batting averages again for this team. Just start right off the bat by pointing out that a team that doesn't believe in batting average as a useful statistic, in fact, has terrible averages and struggles to score runs. So 240, 243, 253, 269, and that's about as good as it gets. 143, 220, 236, 294 for a guy who's been here a week. 214, 196, 233, and 186. It's like when Judge goes out, everybody else just stops hitting. It's like losing 3 or 4 players at once because nobody around him can pick it up. Welcome back, everybody. On the positive side, you do have to hand it to Clark Schmidt. He's really turned his season around. Another outstanding performance tonight, but as I said, an underwhelming performance by the Yankees offense. Just 3 hits in 10 innings. And these weren't studs they were throwing out there. I mean, they were decent pitchers, but you got to do better than 3 hits against these guys. Final game of the homestand. Day off tomorrow. Thank God. And then 2 games at Citi Field and 2 pretty interesting pitching matchups. You got Garrett Cole and Luis Severino versus Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. So be sure to tune in to the recaps on those nights and see if we got 3 or 4 or 5 hits. It's horrible. It's horrible to watch. James Reckling says, horrible game to watch. 2 terrible teams. We are extremely average.
I'm an average nobody.
Extremely average. But impressive gusto from Clark Schmidt tonight. In the first inning, he gave up a leadoff hustle double to Duran, but pitched out of it. Struck out Rafael Devers to end the inning. He got Devers a couple of times tonight, I think. Second inning, not as good. Justin Turner had a solo home run to give the Red Sox a 1-0 lead. In the second inning, Billy McKinney ripped a 2-out ground rule double that gave him an extra base hit in 4 of his first 5 games with the Yankees. Next batter was Jose Trevino, and he singled off the second base pizza box to drive in 2 runs and give the Yankees the lead. At that point, the stadium energy picked up a little bit, and you thought, hey, maybe the Yankees might break this open. Masataka Yoshida took away another double from McKinney in the 4th inning. 2 main takeaways from that. McKinney's doing a heck of a job so far. He also made a great catch. I'll talk about that in a second. And Yoshida has been very impressive in this series. Great at bats, good defense. Clark Schmidt was done after 5 1/3 innings. Final line, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. I commend the way he's put it together. What we're seeing over the last several starts is a guy who's got better command around the edges of the zone, not leaving as many pitches over the middle. He's mixing up his pitches better. His cutter has not been super effective, so he's not throwing it as much. He's got a 2.33 ERA since May 19th, 27 innings over that span, just 7 runs allowed. So nice job by Clark Schmidt. Rizzo is, I think, 1 for 2 million at the plate right now. He did walk and he reached second base, but promptly got picked off in the bottom of the 6th inning with DJ LeMahieu at the plate. Look, Rizzo's a good player. He's in a tough stretch offensively, but he is absolute trash on the bases. Just absolute garbage as a base runner. Worst base runner on the team. Nick Ramirez made a nice play diving into first base to get the out in the top of the 7th. Not very often that you see a pitcher dive into first base. Love the effort. 8th inning, Hernandez singled and then advanced to second on brainworms by Gleyber Torres. No! Alexa, stop. My stupid digital assistant's talking to me. Clay Holmes worked a scoreless 9th. I should mention, Hernandez ended up scoring, so that bonehead play ended up costing us a run. Clay Holmes worked a scoreless 9th. He's been great lately. Nice 6-4-3 double play started by Volpe, who entered the game late. Yankees went quietly in the 9th, and that forced extra innings. And then Hernandez knocked in the Manfred man in the 10th inning to give the Red Sox a 3-2 lead. But Billy McKinney made an outstanding catch at the wall to further fend off damage. He's been impressive. He's taken advantage of his opportunity. He doesn't know how long he's going to be out there, so he's maximizing his contributions. But the Yankees failed to get in their free runner. Anthony Volpe struck out on, a really, really horrible at bat. He took 2 strikes, one of them on the inside corner, one of them right down the middle, and then struck out on a decent slider or cutter away. Couldn't tell. It was moving away from him. But just a poor at bat from Anthony Volpe. And we're seeing a lot more calls in the chat for people to send him down. Right now,
he can't hit for nothing.
Yankees lose this one.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
David Paez says Volpe needs to be benched or sent to the minors to build up his confidence. I think we're getting to that point. I mean, we're almost halfway through the season, and we continue to see the same problems. Reluctantly, I agree with you. I'm not ready to say he's a bust because I believe in the skills. He's got good power, got good speed. I think he'll be an excellent second baseman if the Yankees decide to go that route. He's a below-average shortstop in terms of arm strength. I think the range is pretty good, but the arm strength has got to get a lot better, and he's messed up some routine plays. But again, that's part of the growing pains. I'm not gonna bust his chops about that. But the lack of improvement at the plate at a time when the Yankees are really, really struggling offensively is very concerning. Epic Warrior says Yankees are 2-13 when they don't hit a home run. It's not what you want. Wayne Wilcox says send them all down. Bradley White says Torres is just a low IQ player. I agree with you. And that was just a lackadaisical play. It's those little bits of time when he loses focus that make me not care as much about his clutch hits or his ability to make contact or cut his strikeout rate down because he costs you. And look, that was just a brain fart. Brain worms. It was, in a close game like that, you got to be on your toes, man. Never take your eye off the ball and stay in front of the ball. Those are basics. Those are fundamentals. Look, Parks and Young says, boneheaded.
A what?
Tabor Talk wants Rortvedt, says he's better than Trevino, and I agree. Swinging the bat really well at AAA. He looked good when he was up here. He had solid at-bats. Left-handed hitter, probably a little bit more power. Would love to see it. CWE said, send Volpe to the minors a few weeks ago. You're not alone. I mean, a lot of people wanted to send Volpe to the minors a few weeks ago. Look, here's how it breaks down. There was a competition in spring training, and the Yankees essentially had to choose between Volpe or Peraza. Volpe vastly outplayed Peraza in spring training, so he won the job. Or else you wouldn't have had a competition. It would have been a farce. But it's clear now that Volpe's not ready. I still think he's going to be a good player. Just needs more seasoning at AAA. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And that's nothing to get down on the kid about. A lot of guys come up and go down and come up and go down a little bit just to get the proper adjustments made. You find out how the major league pitchers are beating you. You go back down to the minors where it doesn't count and there's no pressure and there's not cameras and there's cameras, but there's not as many, cameras and there's not as many reporters after the game bugging you. If you have an 0 for 3 night, you just go down there and work on fixing the swing for a few weeks or a few months. I think it's a good idea. And we said last night we're starting the clock. Tonight was a big one. I mean, in a situation like that, you got to have a more competitive at bat. Retro Tony says he pulls everything, and that might be something the Yankees want him to do. But in spring training, we saw he was driving the ball to right field. He was hitting line drives in the gap. You remember those two against the Blue Jays? And then he hit an opposite field home run against the Red Sox in spring training. He was using the right side. And early on, he picked up some big hits to the right side. He had a couple of big home runs at Yankee Stadium. But unfortunately, he's really stuck in pull mode right now. And he needs to figure it out in a situation where there's no pressure. I've been against sending him down. And, right now, if they sent him down, it would not break my heart, I got to say. But I still think he's going to be a good player. But as Medina Forever says, he's just out of whack mechanically. All right, we got to take a moment to thank our sponsor for tonight, the Game Time app. You can get the app on your iPhone, on your Android phone. Last-minute tickets to all your favorite events, concerts, theater, sporting events. You name it, you can get tickets. It's the lowest price on last-minute tickets, guaranteed. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country. I've tried it myself. It works great. It is very seamless, and even a dummy like me can do it. Use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off on your first purchase. Thank you to the Game Time app. Once again, use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off. So yeah, we got to talk a little bit about Gleyber Torres. The play is getting a lot of attention, obviously. Right there, you really want to keep the ball in front of you. It was not a bad throw. It was just a little bit of lackadaisical effort. And effort is something that should never slump. It should never slump. The Yankees offense obviously continues to slump. If you want to take a look at this box score, it's no fun to look at, but we'll look at it anyway. Red Sox get 7 hits, Yankees get 3 hits. Both teams made an error. The Yankees, what is this, the top, 7 hitters or so? Calhoun, Kiner-Falefa, Torres, Rizzo, Donaldson, and Bowers were all over. That's 3, 4, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17. 0 for 17 from those players, from those 6. That's absolutely unbelievable. Only hits tonight, DJ LeMahieu, Billy McKinney, who has looked very good, and Jose Trevino, who had 2 RBIs. And, before somebody said, swap out Rortvedt for Trevino, it's interesting, on a night where he does well, that's one of the comments. But a lot of his at-bats, he just looks very, very overmatched. I still think he's a phenomenal catcher. But right now, we're hurting for offense, and we've got to figure out a way to inject some offense. Carlos Game says, bring back Hicks. I don't think so. William Henry says, this is looking like 2021 all over again. 2021 was just an extremely boring season. And you're seeing that this year. A lot of very low-scoring games, a lot of solo home runs. There's just not a lot of guys in this lineup that frighten you. And tonight, Stanton was out of the lineup. He did come in, and he hit the ball hard, but on the ground. And right now, Rizzo's in an unbelievable slump. Unbelievable. Alan Jones says, not Volpe's fault we lost. That's correct. It's not. But there's nothing wrong with critiquing, a tough at bat in a key situation from a rookie who's been struggling. I think it's fair game to discuss his at bat. Fair game. Tabor Talk says Donaldson is Donaldson again. If you mean the guy who doesn't hit and just plays defense, yeah. He is hitting 143, but he does have 5 home runs. So, maybe he'll run into more of them this year at least. Stone Cold with the super chat says, McKinney has earned a spot. They should send down Calhoun or Bowers when the injured players come back. Bowers has played really well too. And, Calhoun has also done the job. It's an interesting situation that's going to come up, but we don't know when we're going to get Aaron Judge back or when we're going to get Harrison Bader back. So, look, it's just a tough night, and there's a lot of things that we can blame. Michael is correct. He says blaming Volpe for not hitting today is ridiculous. Look, we're not blaming him for the loss. At least I'm not. I'm sure somebody is, but really it's the offense as a whole that I'm blaming for this. Parkinson says McKinney looks good. I agree.
I hardly agree.
Bradley says you should bench Torres for a game or two if we weren't in such an injury crisis. There's no accountability like that on this team. That never happens. We never see guys. I mean, Aaron Hicks eventually got benched, but he had to do some really awful work out there to get benched. It took a long time. And, Roberto says Volpe, another hype prospect that failed. Too early to use failed in the past tense. It's too early to say that, quite frankly. It's only been a couple of months. His first adjustment to the big leagues has not been a success. That's for sure. But to say he's a failed prospect is just wrong. I want to see more line drives to right field. Lou Ram says dead bats are unacceptable. You get tired of seeing it, and I get tired of having the same conversation. Cruise Control says Yanks are good enough for a wild card. Will probably lose to the Orioles in the first round. Sounds about right to me. Sam G says nobody's scared of Stanton. Right now they're not. When he gets hot, they will be. As long as Stanton, hits in the playoffs, hits in the postseason, I'll continue to root for the guy. But during the season, he's just incredibly streaky. We've seen that. He'll go 2 months where he just completely doesn't hit, and then he'll be ballistic beyond belief for a month. That's just how it goes with him. Anyway, James says Trevino's final at bat was worse than Volpe's. I don't have it burned into my memory because it wasn't as crucial, but it was crucial, but it wasn't as do or die. But yeah, I do remember it being kind of a weak at bat. Anyway. Yankees Judge says, fire Lawson. Dylan Lawson, the Yankees hitting coach. Seems like we fire the hitting coach all the time on this team. Marcus Timms got fired. Hensley Mulin's left. We've had a lot of fired hitting coaches over the years. I think maybe it's the philosophy of the organization at large. Their hitting style, their hitting approach, trying to, create launch angle. I don't know.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Wayne says, is Calhoun the slowest outfielder in the league? He's definitely up there. Retro Tony says, bring up Dominguez. 2 more hits today for the Martian.
Most impressive.
Eric Lavoie says, please sell this year and attempt to rebuild. I think if I'm the GM, that's the way I would go. I don't think you're winning the division this year. I don't think you have what it takes offensively to get through the playoffs. I mean, maybe you get hot, but if I'm the Yankees, I would see what I could get for, guys like Harrison Bader. Hey, if you want to bring Bader back, just sign him. He's going to be a free agent. Luis Severino, same deal. The Yankees prospects are, I don't know. They're just very thin in prospects. And when they do get called up, it seems like a lot of guys really struggle to adjust. Oswaldo Cabrera's doing nothing. Volpe's really having a tough time. Even Peraza hit 182 in his brief stint. Florial did nothing last year. He's crushing the ball at AAA, but I hear it's more smoke and mirrors than anything. So, I don't know, guys. Day off tomorrow. Subway Series Tuesday and Wednesday. Day off Thursday. I'm going to see The Flash with the new with Michael Keaton back in the Batman role. I am excited for that. That's going to be fun. And then back in the recap seat Friday evening. I will see you when I see ya. Good night.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.